It's been a build-up to the British Grand Prix like no other, with talk ahead of the race focused on highly charged events happening off the track. Lewis Hamilton is the subject of both having been the victim of racist comments by Nelson Piquet, but also being targeted by the FIA in their clampdown on drivers wearing jewellery on the track. But there is a motor race to be held at Silverstone too, as Red Bull and Max Verstappen look to continue their stranglehold on the championship, as Sportsmail looks at the 8 things to watch out for at the British Grand Prix. The race week got off to an extraordinary start when quotes from 3-time Formula One champion Nelson Piquet were unearthed from a podcast where, discussing Hamilton's crash with Verstappen at Silverstone last year, he referred to the Brit as a Neguinho, which translates as little n**********. Despite offering his apologies, Piquet has since been banned for life from attending any F1 event, and there was much support for Hamilton on social media from his team, F1, the FIA and even rivals Ferrari and Charles Leclerc. However, many fans on Twitter especially were left frustrated by Red Bull's apparent silence over the matter. While Red Bull have no direct involvement with the row, Verstappen is dating Piquet's daughter Kelly, who dumped petrol on the blazing inferno of a story by then liking a post defending her father's comments. Red Bull remain quiet on an issue that is unlikely to disappear quickly, even though they released a statement on Tuesday stating that the team do not condone any form of racism following a separate race row that led to the dismissal of Formula 2 driver Jewellery Vips. Fans, though, have demanded something more directly related to the Hamilton case, and the team as well as Verstappen are likely to face direct questions on the matter at Silverstone. Remember the jewellery row that has been lingering in recent weeks? Well, after kicking the can down the road, it's either time for action or to kick that can a little further. New FIA President Mohammed Ben Sulayem is keen to stress that the unenforced rule of not being able to race with jewellery is now properly policed, and a grace period for drivers expires on Thursday, just 3 days before the British Grand Prix. Hamilton, though, has no intention of removing his jewellery and retains a contentious nose stud. It should make for a highly political standoff before Hamilton's home race. At the most extreme level, Hamilton could be banned from competing this weekend by the FIA, where many fans are attending to catch the 7-time world champion in action, while he could also be heavily fined. Neither Hamilton nor the FIA will back down on the issue, but either way a compromise or a concession will have to be given before the Grand Prix. Let's not forget there is an actual Grand Prix to be held this weekend, and 1 year on from a bitter defeat at Silverstone, Red Bull could leave Britain with a total command of the World Championship. In fairness, they already have close to that, with the drivers 1 and 2 in the title fight, as Verstappen leads Sergio Perez, with Charles Leclerc back in third, 49 points behind the Dutchman. Verstappen's last British Grand Prix ended with him crashing at high speed into the barrier at Copse following a highly controversial collision with title rival Hamilton, and him having to go to hospital to treat minor injuries. Now, though, he has a chance to hit 200 points after just 10 races of the season, while recording a 7th win in a row for the Red Bull team, stretching back to Imola. Verstappen would have taken 6 of them if he secures a first British GP win, although he has previously won at Silverstone in 2020's 70th anniversary GP. Since taking a 34-point lead in the championship following the third round of the season in Australia, form has deserted Ferrari's main challenger, and he has since incredibly only been on the podium once at the Miami Grand Prix. It's not all his fault. In fact, the Monegasque's luck has completely deserted him in the 6 races since. Admittedly, he binned a podium at Imola after a clumsy spin, but since then he has retired from potential race-winning positions in Spain and Azerbaijan due to mechanical failures. That follows up on a 4th place in Monaco, where a bungled Ferrari pit stop strategy saw Leclerc drop from first place in his home race to off the podium altogether, while his Baku mechanical gremlins forced him to have to start from the back and battle up to a highly credible 5th in Canada. It's time for some positive luck to head Leclerc's way, especially at a race he led for long periods last year in a very poor Ferrari before being passed late on by Hamilton for victory. Not only does Leclerc need a bit of fortune to finally fall his way, but so does a title battle that is starting to become heavily one-sided in favor of world champion Verstappen. Carlos Sainz has come close, very close, to winning his first Grand Prix this season, yet the Spaniard continues to be left frustrated after a mixed opening to the campaign. Should he fail to win this weekend, it will be his 150th start in F1 without reaching the top step of the podium, placing him 6th on the all-time list behind Martin Martin Brundle, Romain Grosjean, Nico Hülkenberg, Nick Heidfeld and record holder Andrea de Cesaris with 208 starts. Never had he looked closer to winning than last time out at Canada, though when with just a few laps with fresher tyres he was heavily attacking Verstappen but unable to find a way past the Dutchman in Montreal. He could have won in Monaco too if Ferrari had improved on their pit stop strategy, but 2 second places in 3 races with the other seeing a mechanical retirement in Azerbaijan, indicates a return to form for Sainz, who had been out of sorts in early parts of the season. If Ferrari have the pace to challenge Red Bull this weekend, he might finally have a chance to finally land that elusive win following 5 podiums in the first 9 races. With 3 British drivers, ideally for partisan fans, Sunday's podium would consist of Mercedes duo Lewis Hamilton and George Russell as well as McLaren star Lando Norris. You would be a brave punter, so stick some money on that though, and it is likely that the best British fans can hope for this weekend is one of the drivers joining 2 drivers from Red Bull and or Ferrari on the podium. Such has been the case in 3 of the last 4 Grand Prix. But who is likely to get it? Lando Norris sadly is unlikely to be in contention, having just won podium all year at Imola and his McLaren having little answer to the pace of Red Bull, Ferrari and Mercedes and their 6 drivers. However, down at Mercedes there is little to choose, it appears, between Hamilton and Russell, who passively contested for the podium spot in Canada last time out, with a chance to grab a 3rd spot in front of home fans at least potentially up for grabs. It will be interesting to see if the Mercedes teammates are willing to get along for the sake of their team with high personal interest at stake. The ingredients are there for a first serious test of teammate relations since Russell joined his 7-time world champion compatriot at the Silver Arrows this term. Who doesn't like the prospect of drivers being out of position at the start of a Grand Prix? A jumbled grid can see the best drivers have to make their way through traffic on race day, and it's an element that properly tests the skills of any star and identifies the best. By contrast, it gives other drivers a chance to start nearer the front and be in the hunt for a rare clutch of points. And what's the easiest way to get a jumbled grid? Of course it's by having a rain-hit qualifying session. Where are you most likely to see rain? In the middle of a British summer. As it happens, showers are forecast throughout Saturday during qualifying, meaning jumbled grid or not, qualifying may make for epic viewing ahead of Sunday's main event. So far this season, 6 of the 9 races have been held on street circuits, including the last 3. Notably, the races held on purpose-built race circuits this term have tended to see Ferrari have the upper hand over Red Bull on pace for at least parts of the weekend, including at Imola but especially in Bahrain and Spain, with Leclerc winning the season opener in Sakir and retiring from a dominant position out in front in Catalonia. Silverstone makes the first of 7 races in a row held in the heart of the European season at purpose-built racetracks, and it's a run of races that will likely shape the nature of the championship or potentially even de facto decide it if Red Bull maintain the status quo of extending their winning run. The British Grand Prix could therefore be an early indicator of what to expect for the rest of the summer, or even the season, whether it's Red Bull rampage, a Ferrari fight back or even a return to form for Mercedes.